When I write you these postcards, it's snippets at best. I jot down some rhymes, I brag and I jest. Still, this trip was special, as you're about to see, because I arrived as a friend and I left as family. That might be the cheesiest thing I've ever said, or possibly the most beautiful thing you've ever read. Let me show you what 10 days of magic can do if you surround yourself with people who love you. So I flew down to Switzerland in order to see my dear friend Joseph, who calls me Little Dickie. And I'm telling you now what a visit it's been. Quite frankly, I don't even know where to begin. Joe lives in a small town called Neuchâtel, so it's understandable if you don't know it very well. It's a beautiful place though, I really must say, with a lake down in front and the Alps on display. I could show you scenery for hours on end, but I fear it'll be too much beauty for you to comprehend. I mean, they have Lego-like castles and gas station booths. There's cheese vending machines and spectacular views. We checked out the sights and we toured all around. It truly is easy to fall in love with this town. We drank liters of coffee and gallons of wine. We tapped all types of beer. I think I tried 9. We joked like the old days. We laughed, we had fun. We strolled through the streets in the warm springtime sun. Joe also showed me this unique place. It was magic, unorthodox, and hey, there's my face. We felt like kids again and acted like fools. That meant dancing like morons and joking non-stop about our bools. We used our fake Scottish accent from morning to night, and for a few precious moments, Joe's cancer felt out of sight. I have to single out his mom, Anne-Marie, the most generous woman you'll ever see. She was so nice throughout and she cooked like a god. Magic pancakes, heavenly jaffles, and tasty charbonnade. But also raclette and filet mignon en croûte. The fried chicken, the cheesy hot dogs, everything was a hoot. Then there is Larry, the Canadian pickle-making champ, the king of all dad jokes that'll make you laugh till you cramp. And finally Kevin, a planning extraordinaire. I mean, he's the man who introduced me to the town of Gruyere. But that wasn't all, his schedule was tight. Everything he showed us was an endless delight. We saw Chaplin's World in Charlie's old home. There were no other guests, so we could freely roam. And Joseph is a bit Chaplin-esque indeed, a born entertainer, a different kind of breed. It was possibly the coolest museum I've ever seen, in one of the most picturesque places I've ever been. At H.R. Geiger's exhibit, we enjoyed what seemed like art from space, a mesmerizing and creative slap in the face. We had more cheese, of course, and toured a chocolate factory. That's a dream I've literally had since I was tiny. Then vineyards and tasting and another beautiful view. My fondness for Le Suisse undoubtedly grew. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Joseph's friends, the type of people where the laughter never ends. They were hospitable, graceful, and incredibly sweet. Spending time with this crew was an endless treat. I'm humbled to now be a part of the gang. Despite a few language barriers, it's always a pleasant hang. Later on, we drove to Bern and saw the Swiss-German part 2, all topped off with a delicious ocean of fondue. Oh, did I mention the food? It was crazy from day one. I know this is ridiculous, but I think we ate a ton. From delicious foie gras to exquisite escargot, it was like being the host of a cooking show. I mean, we had lobster, tartare, and double cream. The absinthe meringue also tasted like a dream. There was joy, constant laughter, and a number of hugs. On a Monday, I tried 20 different rums, and I even tasted bugs. I'm grateful for everything we managed to do. Now after my food coma, I'll be ready for round 2. And finally to Joe's cancer, I say please go away. I absolutely, positively need my brother to stay. I love you, my friend, and the Barnes clan too. Merci, dankjewel, tusen tak, and thank you. Until next time, your buddy, old pal, Andreas.
We're walking here through the forest. This is Joseph.
Hello, I'm in the forest walking here.
Nobody knows why we're talking like this.
We don't talk like this ever.
Alright.
Alright.
You know these postcards I always seem to write? Well, here's another one, still charming, still thoughtful, still bright. I'm sure some of you find this pretentious as hell, but I really don't care, as you can probably tell. This will be the most unorthodox postcard yet, but possibly with a message you'll never forget. Now where were we? Oh yeah, I'm writing this to you, to take you on a journey and show you something new. I traveled back to Switzerland to see my buddy Joe. His cancer has been acting up, so I simply had to go. La Suisse is famously known for their watches and their wealth, but ironically, the only thing of true value is time, love, and health. These are the only commodities you simply cannot buy, and despite cherishing every moment, time still has a tendency to fly. But that's not to say you shouldn't embrace it with all you got, because miracles do happen, and no one knows life's plot. We set out to the Alps to get some well-deserved time off, but Joe was sadly in constant agony with nausea and a dreadful cough. It's heartbreaking to see your loved one in so much pain, and not being able to help will make you go insane. I did take a stroll though with Kevin and Anne-Marie on a fascinating trail that you simply have to see. A magnificent place that had an almost spiritual vibe. I mean, you're watching footage of it right now, and it's still hard to describe. We could see the signs a mile away. It said vigilance, which is quite descriptive, I must say. The mesmerizing mountains, the sights, the smell, the view. These forces of nature will be here long after me and you. The wheel of time, the flow of water, and the circle of life. It's easy to get sentimental, and the thought of potential loss cuts like a knife. While Joe was in the hospital, Kevin took me to the Vallée de Joux, a place known for the art of horology, and of course its beauty too. We ate an otherworldly lunch at the Watchmaker's Hotel, and we saw priceless clockworks guarded as if it was a jail cell. We tried to mess with the concept of time, to find a loophole and bring everything back to its prime. But that sadly can't be done, so we can only hope for the best. I'm not gonna lie, that is quite the gut-wrenching test. The train is in the station, getting ready for that final push. You can do this, Joe. Strike that cancer down with a carefully planned ambush. Where's the fire, you ask? It's right here, right now. Give it all you got. Please win and take a well-deserved bow. I really hope one day we'll laugh at this, my friend. All my strength to you I send. Who am I, the love child of Yoda and William Shakespeare? Anyway, what goes down can come up, or so I've been told. In other words, I'm planning for us to still laugh together when we're grey and old. I hope my postcard didn't just make all of you cry and squall. Why not instead subscribe to our cancer podcast, Having a Ball? I'll see you when I see you, you Prince of Colombier, you King of Neuchâtel, your buddy, your friend, your son, your brother, Andreas. Thank you, and I love you. The third and final postcard sadly didn't make it on time. Things happened all too fast, and I've not been in the mood to rhyme. My brother Joe told me there was nothing more the doctors could do, so I jumped on the first plane just to hug him and say I love you. I spent several days with my second family in Joseph's room. There was love all around, despite impending gloom. We laughed, we cried, we reminisced about the good old days. I will miss you forever, I said, as tears streamed down my face. Joe's family is amazing, and I'm proud to be their honorary son. Their devotion and their graciousness is quite frankly second to none. Despite knowing all too well that the end was near, Joseph still made everyone smile and managed to overcome his fear. We were lucky enough to film a final episode of our show. It is now a historical document and the last thing he did before he had to go. Our final memories were in the hospital garden in the warm autumn sun. His friends all showed up, we drank beer, and we had so much fun. Unless you were there, it's really hard to describe. Words like magic and memorable certainly reflects the vibe. We spoke of his bucket list and the things he wanted to do, but the only thing there was time for was to gather his crew. Joseph left us on a Thursday morning after having been through hell. I'm glad to know he's no longer in pain, and if there's an afterlife, I know he's doing well. He definitely fought the courageous fight, yet cancer sadly won, and darkness replaced light. This is not how I wanted the Postcard trilogy to end, but don't worry, I will carry on the torch for my friend. Having a Ball will be a global phenomenon indeed. We will win, we will triumph, we will succeed. Your legacy will live on, Joe, I promise you that. Now rest easy, with a book, your cheeky smile, and your trucker hat. I love you. Your pal, Andreas. The end.